Hi guys, so we're going to talk a little bit about posture and grip today, okay? So from here you can see I've got 3 balls laid out. So now this is going to be talking about the posture and how we stand for varying different clubs. So I've got sandwich here, 8-iron here, and driver here. So if I keep my feet in the same point and put the clubs at the same length, you can see how the distance of the ball gets further away. Okay, so it's a pretty good visual of how far you want to stand away from the ball to start with, okay? Another rule of thumb I go with is little finger to thumb, give or take, should just touch the tip of your belt buckle and the butt end of the grip, which you can see here isn't far off, okay? So that there is our distance from the ball for varying clubs, okay? How we hold the club is massively important, okay? So with the lead hand, you almost want to feel like you're picking up a briefcase or a shopping bag to the side of you here, okay? Most people get, where they get unstuck is they put the club right in the pad of the hand here and have a really weak lead hand. You want to sit this across the fingers here. Now that thumb here now sits on this side of the grip here, and you can see the V now going up to my trail shoulder a bit more. Okay, you can either go 10-finger grip, overlap, interlock. Okay, my choice is at the minute overlap here. Okay, and you can see how the grip now in the trail hand sits in the fingers and goes on top here, so the V now also goes up here. A lot of people you'll see either too strong here, which we would call a hooker's grip, so you can see them really underneath here, or vice versa, that weak paddy grip here, where then the forearms sit over there. Okay, forearm alignment as well at setup is super key because that can dictate path. Okay, so with my nice neutral grip now, so I've got it in the fingers, I've gauged my distance away from the ball. Okay, so once I'm in this setup here, we're looking to have our feet a little bit around about shoulder width, maybe a tad wider than shoulder width. We don't want it too narrow, and obviously we don't want it too wide. A lot of people I see are trying to get this power stance where it's too wide. That encourages a lateral sway, which we're trying to avoid. Okay, so around about shoulder width is good enough. Okay, with the weight in the balls of our feet. A nice visual I like to see as well is from here, the back of the seam line under my armpit here runs all the way over just the front of my shoelaces here, so I'm not too far forward and I'm not too far back in my heels. Okay, so from that position here, I will now add a little bit of foot flare, putting my feet out to 10 to 2. Okay, what this enables me to do is it'll have a little bit more hip rotation. If you were to stand there now, put your toes in, now try and feel how hard it is to internally and externally rotate these hips. Now opening these toes at 10 to 2 really enables me to move my hips. Okay, so I've got my distance, my grip, where my weight is, bit of foot flare. Okay, now from here, another thing I like to see as well, where a lot of people struggle, and this is where a lot of people then start to early extend, is when their backside is so far behind their heels at setup. Okay, the first thing they do is then try and find neutral, and all of a sudden their backsides come off that line, and they've already early extended in their up in their backswing. There's a recipe for disaster in the downswing. Okay, so you really want to focus on not having that backside too far, what we'd call that into anterior tilt in the hips, but too far behind you as a visual. If you can use a mirror, get a practice partner, or film yourself, you want to just feel like you're tilting the belt buckle up slightly. Now that brings my backside slightly closer to my heels. Okay, now ball position as well. So with an 8-iron, so a mid-iron like this, I like to see from that position here just slightly forward of center. Okay, and you can play around with ball position depending on shot shape you're trying to hit. If you struggle with a slice, putting it slightly further back, so this club now collects the ball earlier on the arc, will help promote a little bit more of a in-to-out path. Vice versa, if you can put it slightly forward, it will generally promote a bit more of an out-to-in path to try and neutralize it as well. Okay, so I've got my distance from the ball here, foot flare, trying to have a nice neutral balance point here, back of the armpits over the front of my shoelaces. Okay, got my grip. Okay, and one thing as well I will touch on is that trail forearm wants to just sit that way, a little bit more external here, whereas a lot of people sit it internally that way and it's really on top of the club. Okay, so I'm in there, and that's the kind of posture I'd like to see from here. A little bit of a tilt from the hips as well to help me, but as I'm doing it, I'm not sticking my backside out, so my backside will stay in that position. Little tilt from the hips here, so now I won't have a curve here. It's pretty flat and neutral with a slight curve in my upper spine And from there, this will now give me the ability to try and produce a little bit more of a functional golf swing. This is how important it is. I mean, it takes zero talent to have good setups. You really need to take your time with this and use practice partners, video yourself, and try and get that as a reference point. So from here now, I should be able to turn up more efficiently and transfer my weight easier. Okay, give that a try. Let me know how you get on. Again, any future videos you'd like to see, drop them in the comments below. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.